And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good morning and welcome to the Market Prep. I'm happy to be here, excited to be here with you this morning. Today is Thursday, January the 26th. My name is John Hoagland. As always, our focus here is always on finding accurate context, good risk management, and staying patient and centered in our trading. If you're already in the markets, hopefully you've got things going on your way. I'm feeling a little bit blessed that we did not have some big reactions to the numbers this morning. I think that's going to maybe give us an opportunity to participate a little bit more today. But of course, as we always say here on the Market Forecast, the Market Prep, I got to keep saying prep. Anything can happen. ACH, that's one of our acronyms here. This morning we had a bunch of numbers come out at 7:30. The durable goods orders, core durable goods, was expected to come out minus 0.2%, came out minus 0.1%, a little bit better than expected. The GDP quarter four preliminary, they were looking for 2.6, came out 2.9, higher than expected, but still a drop from quarter three GDP. International trade in goods, we had a little bit more of a deficit in that. They were looking for 82.9 billion, came out minus 90.3 billion. Jobless claims, the initial number was due to come out at 205,000. It came out at 186,000. So as these markets digest this information, that's going to hopefully provide us with opportunities for day trading profits. That's the goal here. We are always looking forward to seeing profits. As far as news is concerned, the Nasdaq is leading the market higher on Tesla. All of the stock indices are now higher on the day. They were a little bit mixed prior to the number, but we're seeing some good upside movement here after the numbers. The Nasdaq beating the other equities indices because of increased demand from Tesla showing a big boost in demand and releasing some plans to cut costs. And then I say right here in my notes, anything and everything can change at 7:30 today. Stock index futures hovering above key levels. We'll see that in the charts here very shortly. There is a huge list of earnings due out today. This morning, MasterCard with mixed results, Comcast beating, Blackstone with mixed results, Northrop Grumman, of course, beating on both expectations. American Airlines also beating. After the close today, the majors we'll be watching will be Visa and Intel. Crude prices have found balance above that $80 number after the EIA inventories had a miss lower, but just slightly, just a kind of an inert number yesterday for crude traders. But as we know, the Treasury Secretary of the U.S. has said they're going to start to replenish the Strategic Petroleum Reserve at 80. So you can bet that price will really not spend a lot of time down there if that is indeed what they are doing. The VIX this morning up slightly at 1918, still very low. The dollar index also up slightly, still below 102 at 101.8. This is last I checked, of course. The yield on the 10-year back up above 3.5% this morning. As always, I ask that you hit the lucky like button. Share, comment, question, feedback, heckling, and love are always welcome. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notifications when we do go live. We've got the market prep this morning. We've got Make Hogue Money right after that. And then this afternoon at 3 o'clock, the podcast with Jack and Dan. So that's going to be it for me after Make Hogue Money for you today. And as always, looking forward to a successful and profitable trading day. Good morning, Brett, first in the room. You win the prize. Shaw, good morning. Caprice, Charles, Rooster, good morning. Terry King, John Hukel. Our good friend John Doherty is with us this morning, already sending me love notes this morning. Thank you very much for that, John. Bill Phillips, Sarah Hall's prayers and love to you as always. Travis, it's good to see you. Kevin, good morning. Octorabs, good morning. News is out. What will the market say? Stay tuned to As the Market Turns. Kevin, how low will natural gas go? I mean, yikes is right. How much lower can it go? I know it's been a very warm winter here by us, but I know that that hasn't been the case all over the place. But hey, if we can get cheaper nat gas, that's okay with me. Hopefully that's going to continue as a trend overseas. I don't know how that's going to work out. But Andy is with us, not a crazy news considering all the news, right? Mike, I think that's going to perhaps give us better reference and maybe better opportunities in the day time frame today. At least I'm hoping that is the case. Mike Russell, good morning. Khalid, Phil, Christo, good morning. Alejandro, Tanya, good morning. Jay, Jason, Rusty Golfer, my spirit animal. Fred is happy and excited to be here with everybody as well. Good morning, Fred. Zarain, my guy. Vince, how you doing? Fred with a question: is the guitar fretboard hanging on your wall all that remains of your career in a Who tribute band? Nah, there's a kind of a story behind that, Fred. I have a deck on the back of the house off the kitchen, and it's surrounded by trees. And I used to buy every year or so a beat-up guitar, a beach guitar, I called it. I wouldn't even buy a case for it. They would usually be around $100, and that would be the one that I would carry around to campfires and beaches and stuff like that. First thing I did when I got it home was I would give it a ding on something so that that was over with. I didn't have to worry about it anymore. But we were having a big party, and I had a couple of them laying around, so I hung them in the trees around the deck, just thinking, this would be kind of interesting. It's a conversation starter, and everybody was like, "Why are there guitars in your trees?" I said, "Well, that's where they live. They live in the trees at my house. They're friendly. They won't bite you." So it was just kind of a funny thing. Well, I left one in a tree over the winter, and one of the fretboards popped off of it. So I thought, well, I just cleaned that up and put it on the wall behind me for this reason. Smashing guitars is expensive. I would never smash an expensive guitar. Kind of in the market for a new acoustic. I'm looking around, and we're going to see what happens. I have not been playing much. My pads on my fingers are largely gone, so I've got to get back into it. And I figure a nice new piece will entice me to get back into trading. Maybe one of these days we'll have a little show. No promises, though. Nasdaq, good morning. Haggle Matters, Will JT Swede, good morning. Nasdaq, someone's manipulating that natural gas market. Jeez. Alfred, good morning. Marcelo, Tanya, it's a lot of fun. I just like to kind of show people that guitars live at my house. Nasdaq, hey, your story is inspiring me to get my old guitar out and start playing again. Haven't made time in a few years. Thanks. Yeah, it is something that I could not put down for a number of years, and some things happened, and it just kind of sucked the wind out of my sails. Shaw Taylor is really what I'm kind of looking for. I'm looking for an auditorium model, middle of the road. Nothing like the 8 series, something in the middle of the road. Spruce top, rosewood backsides, something that sounds really good. You have a Yamaha classical acoustic. I've got one of my old beat-up classicals sitting over here next to me right now. Good morning from Hotlanta. It's cold today. That is cold today. We are 23 and still some light snow falling. I got to change my strings too. Sarah, all right. Another guitarist. We should get a band together. Ah, the Martin mahogany. The smell from the wood is incredible. I've got a Martin dreadnought I bought. Jeez. More than 30 years ago. My dad said I was absolutely crazy because I, of course, spent too much on it. And he was one of the reasons that I told him, I said, I'm going to do this for my whole life. So I'm not going to buy something that I'm not going to like, that doesn't sound good. I'm going to buy something decent. So I bought this Martin Dreadnought. He thought I was crazy. And by the time he'd passed away, one of his favorite things to do was to sit and just listen to me play. And it may have something to do with his passing, how I've been able to put it down for so long. And he wouldn't be happy about that. So in his honor, I'm going to get myself a new piece and start working on it again. There's a lot of muscle memory. I've forgotten a lot of the songs and the pieces that I've played, but I have all the music, and it won't take too long for me to get back up to speed, I think, as long as I can get my calluses on my fingers. Because when I start again, I know I'm going to get bruised and it's going to hurt, but it's a good hurt. What are those yellow plates with numbers on them to the left? Well, these are badges. These are some of my badges from the trading floor, my brother's badge. The yellow RHH badges are my dad's when he was on the trading floor. The numbers are clearing firm numbers. So if you made a trade with somebody, if I sold you one, I would write down your badge. What is it? BSN maybe that would be your badge, Backer Sultan BSN, and then your clearing firm number would be the next thing I would write down underneath it. So BSN clears Chicago grain 115. 115. Vince has a few guitars, and we got to do this. We got to get a guitar circle and a drum circle together. Got a nice drum set down in the basement, too. I've played drums since I was in about first grade, and I picked up the guitar because I was in bands, and I started thinking, if I would learn to play the guitar, I'd have a better understanding of what it is that guitarists are looking for from a drummer. And I think it actually worked. Okay. Let's get ready to trade here. We're going to take a look through the charts as always, starting with the daily in the S&Ps. Looking like we've got some potential upside move coming here. Yeah. You know what they call someone who hangs out with musicians? A drummer. That's right. Here's another one for you, Haggle Matters. How do you get a drummer off your front porch? You pay him for the pizza. On to the markets. I play the cowbell. More cowbell. I've got a fever. The only prescription is more cowbell. All right, S&Ps. So we're going to start here with the continuation chart. We've got 3 full days of closing above this important trend line. The trend is to the upside in short time frame. Medium time frame, we're range bound. Longer time frame to the downside. But are we breaking that longer time frame downside structure by having all this close in this time up above this trend line? It is entirely possible. Here's the daily. Last week's high, really kind of magnetic for the last 3 sessions. We've been waiting for what was going to happen today. We know what's going to happen today, and we're showing acceptance of higher pricing here before the open. We had like two days of indecision. Almost a doji day before yesterday. We have a nice excess low here. This is showing some pretty stiff rejection of lower pricing. If we can continue this move higher, this is going to prove to be somewhat important. Now, this is a secondary trend line that we've been dancing on. Now we're showing potential acceptance above that level. If we have good volume today and add open interest, that's going to encourage me to think that the upside auction has grown some new legs to it and that it's likely to continue. Anything can happen. ACH. Of course, we always have to remember that. Lars probably wouldn't be happy with those jokes, but neither would John Bonham, my guy. All right, back to the task at hand here. The settlement is 40.32. We've got upside. We've got long overnight inventory. We are going to be opening with a gap with relative possibility, right? There's pretty high probability we're going to be opening with a gap. We don't necessarily have a late spike at the end of the day yesterday, although the 3 to 3:30 move did put in like the regular trading hour high, if you call that regular trading hour. The market opens. We've got overnight longs. Look at the settlement for the last 3 days. Here, here, and here. It's been pushing lower. Value has been pushing lower. Has this created a bull flag for us? And if it has, are we breaking out above it? It would appear to be so. Economic numbers, anything can happen. The numbers are largely out. We have 9 o'clock new home sales still due out, and that may or may not be somewhat impactful. We don't know until the time comes. We put our recent high in regular trading hours, and we are wrestling with that now. Take a look at the TPO chart. Okay, no late spike. But we had a double distribution trend day. Initial balance, neither side of it remained the extreme. We have excess at the low. We have excess here below price. And now we're seeing price ready to open with a gap. So gap rules are really what I'm thinking about today. If we can't close this gap relatively early, which is a subjective term, probably within the first couple hours of trade, then I'm going to be looking to see if we can accumulate some negative delta against upside direction. If that is the case, that is going to be one of the first indications that I'm seeing longer time frame buyers adjusting inventory, either getting out of shorts or getting into long positions. We'll have to wait until tomorrow to find that out. And getting our short time frame traders short. When the S&Ps are moving higher, which for the last 30 some odd years that I've been watching them, that's mostly the case. The market tends to get the short time frame trader short, and then it runs it up on them. The S&Ps, the stock indices, have been eating shorts for 40 years. I think they're hungry. I think they want to eat some shorts. I don't know. Could be wrong. We're going to have to see how that plays out. Yesterday, however, we had a look lower. We have excess at the low. We added open interest on the way back up on a double distribution trend day that closed near the high. We're opening above that high. Right now, the nuances are saying if we can't close this gap, I'm looking for opportunities to buy weakness for continuation to the upside. We've got weekly kickoff high at 40.76. That's only 20 points higher than this. Just saying. Crude. Range bound? Maybe. $80? Look at the rejection for the last 3 days since the energy secretary said we're buying at 80. They're not going to get it done. If they keep showing their hand, we're going to beat them to the punch. Short time frame balance, medium time frame balance, short time frame structure, okay to the upside. We added 6,300 contracts yesterday. What was I looking at earlier here? Since the beginning of the year, since this day, crude oil has accumulated open interest of 221,000 contracts. We've only had 2 days of open interest losses since the beginning of the year. There's something big going on here. We're range bound now, but I'm not looking for that to really continue. When this market starts to move, I think it's going to move in a big way. I don't know which way. You can guess what that's going to be, but our current balance high is 82.60, 78.45, the balance low. Last week's high and low. We're right in the middle of it. kind of indicating we're in short time frame control, but we keep adding open interest over time, and that is, if you'll pardon the pun, energy. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. Got a little slow thing going on here. For some reason my CPU seems to be struggling a little bit here, but that's all right. Overnight inventory to the left side. If we can't close the gap, we're looking for opportunities for this market to continue a move upside. The upper extreme last week's high, weekly kickoff high above. Down below, one naked point of control remains between, so that we can see continuation. If we close the gap and reaccept inside range and value from yesterday, the value area situation on range, but the value acceptance inside yesterday's value means higher value at the low. We've got a couple of nuances we're going to have to take out of the equation before has probably been the low of the session. No, maybe be a little bit more patient, better trade location. Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of difficulty in some of the things that I'm doing here. It seems there was a little bit of a slowness going here, but I think it has resolved itself. Okay, let's take a look at Nasdaq now. This is the continuation chart. This is off the all-time high. Same kind of trend line as the S&Ps. We've got 1, 2, 3 closes above it. That is time. One of the features of the auction process, which, by the way, we'll be doing the auction process part of the webinar today, is time. If price is accepting at a higher level through time, it is showing acceptance of higher pricing. We're showing acceptance of higher pricing through time, not necessarily in the range area here, but in this kind of important trend line here. We're closing above it. We've got work to do still to the upside. Let's not kid ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. When we're looking at the Nasdaq, where are we? We're still 25%. Right now, overnight inventory to the long side. We got double distribution. Yeah, it is a double distribution trend day. CPU, something be slows something. Maybe this will help. I got something really kind of spiking my CPU. I have closed out one of my platforms that usually doesn't do that, but it looks like it's resolved itself now. So we'll press on here. Again, overnight inventory to the long side. If we can't close the gap, we are looking for opportunities to buy weakness to benefit from a continuation above the gap. Weekly kickoff high is certainly in play in the Nasdaq. We're not there yet in the S&Ps, but weekly kickoff high in the Nasdaq is 12.012. Look where we are. We're going to open right there. This is going to be kind of cool, right? Yeah, I think I got rid of the gremlin. I just had to close one of my platforms. Thank you for letting me know about that, and I think that has certainly helped. So we're going to open in a very important inflection level in the Nasdaq. TPO chart. Double distribution trend day to the upside. No late spike. We did close inside the body of the profile, but we do have a double distribution. We got single ticks here. We're going to be opening above a double distribution trend day to the upside, perhaps starting another distribution of time and value above that level, showing signs of acceptance through time. Continues us looking for the upside. Now, the big difference between yesterday and today and the Nasdaq and the S&Ps, the Nasdaq lost open interest. We got probably too short yesterday, but we didn't necessarily bring in the new buyers. Watch Delta this morning. Watch Delta if you're trading the equities. Okay, that's going to reset at 8:30. If price continues to move higher and Delta continues to decrease in value, that's telling you something. What we're looking for at this level in the Nasdaq is longer time frame traders to adjust inventories. Okay, one thing different about the Nasdaq and the S&Ps, our overnight high the other day was the recent high. Market doesn't like that. It's already working on taking that out. Gold. Alrighty, so upside structure obviously is intact. Upside performance, I'm giving a B. Look at the open interest we added yesterday. 12,000 contracts and new open interest yesterday. Volume holding, not great. That's why I'm giving it a B. Open interest higher, volume lower. Eyes on the U.S. dollar today, and eyes on the euro. The euro is up against weekly kickoff high. It's been struggling there for 3-4 days. If we can break out in the euro, that may be a signal that gold might be ready to continue a move to the upside. Take a look at the 30-minute chart here. So we had a late spike yesterday. We settled right at the high, but right now where we opened, we're showing signs of rejection. The 730 bar tested down to point of control from yesterday and is now showing signs of possible rejection of value. Again, I'm going to be watching the euro to see if we find some acceptance above the weekly kickoff high in euro to kind of look for continuation to the upside in gold. Here's the TPO chart. Okay, yesterday's IB low was the low of the session. Double distribution, almost, not really, but this is pretty much just a trend day to the upside that closed on the high. At least initially showing a rejection of that late spike. The base of that late spike is 1941.50. 1941.50. Look at our current high. Right here, 41.50. So right to the base of the late spike. If we start showing signs of acceptance above that, this market could continue this move to the upside. Now, here's the euro. Here's what we're talking about. 1, 2, 3 days continuing to try and press up against that weekly kickoff high, trying to exhaust the sellers up there, unable to so far. Open interest continues to increase at higher pricing, but volume is starting to fall off, which is a little bit unnerving for continuing to try and get long. I would say the volume is largely maintaining. Look at where we are as far as volume is concerned today. This looks like it may be a decent volume day in the euro. Here's the 30-minute chart. Look what we've got going here. This goes back here. You can't see that there's a low here. Contact. This is a rising triangle. If the rising triangle breaks out to the upside, you're going to go with it. If it breaks out to the downside, you're going to go with it. Right now, overnight inventory is a little bit short, but we're in range and in value. I'm really going to be focusing in the euro if I'm going to be trading it, which I'm probably not unless something really catches my eye. At this level, against the high, against the low, acceptance above this level. This is kind of range-bound rules. You fade the extremes until proven wrong. Acceptance above here, we go with that. And that may be something that gold will be keeping an eye on to look for continuation to the upside. But of course, we know we have to keep one eye on the dollar, which so far today is up just slightly. It's still below 102. Gold contract, I think that, you know what, I forgot to check that. Today, I think, is switch day to April. Let's see, the total volume in Feb is 78,000. Roll forward, that's March, very low volume. Roll forward to April, 29,000. So if your platform allows you to trade the Feb, I would be trading the Feb contract. Tomorrow we'll probably be looking at the April contract. The volume hasn't necessarily moved over there yet. Christian Rodriguez, I know a Christian Rodriguez. One of my son's good buddies is Christian Rodriguez. Is this you, Christian? If so, you've been to my house a million times. The late spike is, where were we? We're in gold. Okay, this late spike happened late, right? This is, it's when the market extends the range higher, but doesn't have time in the regular trading hours to accept it over time. It's a good question, Christian. If you really want to know, come to group coaching on Monday or Wednesday, because then I can really get into it. I've got to get moving because we got Make Hogue Money coming up here soon. I'm going to make sure we have time to talk about some opportunities. So there's the euro. Here's the 10-year. Rates jumping up a little bit. We had excess at the high yesterday. No initial balance extreme on either side yesterday. It was a normal variation trading day, centrally located, indicating potential move away from this area. The weak low and the excess has the market continuing to try and auction lower to seek buyers. Overall, though, where is it? Range bound. Range bound. I didn't get settlement on here, but obviously overnight inventory was short. It is now reconciling back into range, back into value. Patience. The treasuries are going to be tough trade until after FOMC next Wednesday. Here's that nat gas everyone's talking about. It just keeps going lower. Adding 17,000 in open interest just yesterday. Rollover's about to be over. Volume, I think, was pretty good yesterday. So we've got downside structure. We've got breakout continuation market state. Open interest again increasing. 30-minute chart. Overnight inventory to the short side, but very little attempt to try and adjust overnight inventory. There's a lot of shorts in this market, and right now they seem comfortable. That comfortableness gives me a little bit of a chill. But again, we've got a gap. If we can't close the gap relatively early, we're trying to sell when this market shows strength still. Here's the TPO chart. Bam. What about yesterday? Late spike. So, Christian, this is the range for the day. If I split this profile, I'm going to go through this quickly. Okay, the market moves lower and then closes in the last 30 minutes at an extreme. And when the market extends the range lower, it closed down here. This is a late spike. So what we look for, because the market doesn't have time to accept that price in regular trading hours, we look for where the market opens the next day. If it opens higher above the late spike, that's showing potential rejection of lower pricing. If it opens in, that's potential for acceptance of lower pricing, but opening flat out below that late spike is telling you this is a high probability acceptance of lower pricing. Doesn't mean you can just sell and walk away. This market could come all the way back and maybe even trade to the base of the late spike right here, which is $2.91.6, and still be accepting lower pricing. It's just a reference term. It's a nuance. And you know me, I love nuances. All right, let's get ready for Make Hogue Money. It's a little bit late. Let's take our deep breath. Stay humble, grateful, and creative in your trading today. Looking forward to seeing everybody at Make Hogue Money. I need a couple of people that want to chat, so let me know. It's going to take me about 5 minutes to get set up for that. So let's call this a day. If I don't see you, trade well today. Get out there and profit, and we'll see you in a few minutes. If not, I will see you tomorrow morning again for the market prep, 7:45. Trade well today.